Hey YouTubers, today I'm going to be reviewing Wolverine and the X-Men. Now Wolverine and the X-Men is basically like, it was a Nickelodeon show that only had one season. It was going to have a second season, but I don't really know. So yeah, just like the title implies, Wolverine is the leader of the X-Men in this version. So basically we start like a year earlier. The X-Men, they're just doing regular stuff that they always do in the mansion. But then Wolverine starts to, he's going to see Charles Xavier because Wolverine is going to leave again because, he goes on his, little missions and all that stuff. Like he doesn't, like he did in the first X-Men movie. He left, then he came back. Yeah. But anyway, there's an explosion. So there's an explosion that destroys the Xavier School. So basically, it gets shut down. Wolverine's trying to leave life as a superhero behind, but he can't, so he helps his family, and then the MRD come after him. The MRD are like this mutant like special government agents that go after mutants. So they snatched up the family that rescued him, and they were going to arrest them because they were harboring a mutant. So Wolverine decides to suit up again as a superhero and then, defeat the MRD with the help of Beast, who's still trying to figure out what caused the explosion. Yeah. So basically sets the tone for the show. Like, oh, stop the MRD and all that crap. Yeah, it's basically that kind of show. But they do show other characters. They show the Hulk, Fury, Shield. Yeah. They even show the Silver Samurai from when we even show him when he was in Japan and all that stuff. Yeah, I know, it's basically a Wolverine-eccentric show, because it's called Wolverine and the X-Men. He's supposed to be the leader and all that stuff. Eventually, he assembles the X-Men team again. He brings us back together because he says, the world needs the X-Men. The MRD are crazy. They're arresting non-mutants to get to the actual mutant. They say if you harbor a mutant, you go to jail. Yeah. So basically, the members are Wolverine, Beast, Shadowcat, Iceman, Angel, Storm, sometimes Nightcrawler. Like, he basically only showed up like one episode. Emma Frost. Yeah, of course, Wolverine himself. Who else was on the team? And a guy named Forge. And that's basically what the show is. They have to stop the MRD, free mutants, stop the Sentinels from being created. And Charles Xavier's in a coma. But apparently Charles Xavier won't wake up from his coma for 20 years. So he wakes up in the future 20 years later. The Sentinels are basically ruling the world. People are dead. Basically, the Days of Future Past timeline. If you've ever seen the movies. If you've ever seen the Days of Future Past movie, you know exactly what I'm talking about. Yeah, so eventually we see Charles more in the future. And his future Charles is talking to them in the past. Telling them, like, future information, so he can help him prevent the dark future that he's in. Mutants are in concentration camps, and there's basically no humans anymore. Because the Sentinels were like, oh, humans are actually mutants. Mutants are actually humans. And then they decided to go after everybody. I see a lot of future characters like Bishop. Bishop has the power to, like, absorb energy and all that stuff. And we see future versions of the characters that we know. We eventually see, like, future Wolverine. Yeah. Basically, he tells them future information. And now, this show is really Magneto heavy. most everything X-Men. I just want to show that doesn't have Magneto in it. At this point, we know Magneto's origin. He makes a city called Genosha for mutants. It's a mutant haven. But honestly, his idea of free is to put people in prison. They do something wrong with his dumb island. They go to jail. They have Scarlet Witch, who is evil again. This Scarlet Witch is just so different from the comics because she already knows Magneto's her dad. Instead of her taking so long to figure out Magneto is her dad. Yeah, Scarlet Witch and Quicksilver are the children of Magneto. Duh. If anyone didn't know that, how did you not know that? What the heck? That's not a comic book knowledge. Magneto's her dad in every cartoon. Basically, okay? So basically, he doesn't lead the Brotherhood. The leader of the Brotherhood is not Quicksilver. Weird. It's Quicksilver being a bad guy. Yeah. And for the Brotherhood, it's Blob, Avalanche, Toad, Domino. Yes, Domino from Deadpool 2. Yeah, she evil. And then you also have Quicksilver, like I mentioned. Yeah. They want to destroy the MRD. They want to kill Senator Kelly so they could just show the world that mutants are more superior than humans and all that crap. It's basically what it is. It's basically, if you've seen the first X-Men movie, you know the plot of this show. It's simple. It's simplistic, but that's fine. I like the future stuff better because we see some interesting characters. Like, of course, we see an old man Wolverine. That's not that weird because we have the Logan movie. In the future, we see multiple versions of X-23. Yeah. One episode, Wolverine goes back to the Weapon X facility. But he's trying to recover memories and all that stuff. And one guy attacks him. He's, who are you? And it's Sabretooth. He don't know who Sabretooth is because, of course, amnesia and all that stuff. He goes back to the wilderness and he gets attacked by this girl who's a mutant and has these powers. And he says, "You killed my dad." And he said, "I don't remember anything. They took my memory." And we find out this version of Wolverine dated Mystique. It's not comic knowledge and all that crap. Nightcrawler is not Wolverine's son. It's just they did date it briefly before he had amnesia. My favorite episode is when Wolverine goes back to Japan to, like, defeat the Silver Samurai because he's taking the X-Men. Don't get why, because the only reason he went to Japan anyway. Only reason they fought anyway because it was over a dang girl. I know it's over a girl. What is this, Disney? I don't know. But anyway, and Wolverine says, "You got the girl. Why do you still want my friends?" Yeah, because he still want to beat Wolverine. He said, I never bested you. So he took the X-Men so Wolverine can come and fight him. It's a cool little episode because it shows that Wolverine is a good samurai. Now, I don't think he's as good as Samurai Jack, but he's cool as a samurai. This episode doesn't really have any consequences. It's just a cool little episode to see Wolverine go to Japan. It's kind of better than the rest of the Wolverine movie. You remember the one from 2013 when he also went to Japan and all that crap? That was a good movie, but the end of the movie was weird. They did their own version of Silver Samurai, but that version of Silver Samurai looked like a Power Ranger. Sorry, not Power. He looked like a Transformer. So yeah. And the only X-Men that we left was Rogue. And we see her powers more that she basically has like a Taskmaster ability. Because when she absorbed the ninja's strength, she could do martial arts too. Yeah. Oh yeah, Rogue's in this, sorry. For most of that part, she's switching sides so many times. It's annoying. First, she joins the Brotherhood. Then she also sold the X-Men out. Then she was actually working for the Brotherhood. And then actually, no, she was a double agent. She was actually just undercover so she could know what they're planning, the Brotherhood are planning. She switches sides so many times. Yeah. And basically, I said Angel's part of the team, Warren Worthington. He's not really on the team. For the most part, it's just like, I can't show myself. I can't show that I'm a mutant. Because then if my dad see me doing my superhero stuff, he'll cut me off of my rich allowance and all that crap. I don't know, I'm not rich. I don't really know what you would call that. Savings account? I don't know. But most of that time, he's just like, he's in some episodes. We thought he was in this one episode, but actually it was just Mystique in disguise. Apparently she working for Magneto. And then when Nightcrawler comes up, yeah, apparently Nightcrawler, after he quit the X-Men, he'd been on a cruise ship, helping mutants get into Genosha. He even fought these people who worked for this creepy alien guy named Mojo. Mojo is basically if you've ever seen Thor Ragnarok, imagine the Grandmaster, Jeff Goldblum's character, imagine if that character was fat, green, has a weird face, and doesn't have any legs, and it sits on this robotic spider-like chair. That's Mojo. We don't see him, but we see the people that he works for, because he wants these special mutants for his quote-unquote games. So of course, Nightcrawler defeats him and all that stuff. And then the X-Men said, how about let's go help Nightcrawler? And they find out, Nightcrawler has already defeated all the villains. And they all teleport away. He's like, I guess we missed the party, but okay. And one thing I gotta say about the show, Yuri Lowenthal voices Iceman. If you don't know who Yuri Lowenthal is, he voiced Teenager Ben 10 in the Ben 10 shows. I just did those reviews and all that stuff. Yeah, so he's Iceman. It's kind of weird seeing Yuri Lowenthal's Ben 10's voice coming out of Iceman's body. Yeah. He's still better than Aaron Ashmore from the X-Men movies. And also, fun fact, Aaron Ashmore was in Smallville. Yeah. Which character? You're just gonna have to watch it. I haven't seen Smallville in a while. It was so many villains in that show. Anyway, we're getting off topic here. This is not about Smallville. And I will do a Smallville review eventually, because there's so many seasons. Yeah. So anyway, we eventually find out what caused the explosion. Jean Grey with the Phoenix Force. Watch the X-Men movies. I can't keep explaining everything that's in those movies. This is a Wolverine and the X-Men review. It's not like an origin story of the X-Men. When the show picks up, they've definitely been the X-Men for definitely some years now. They're used to Wolverine. Yeah. You find out Jean Grey has this, Phoenix Force. Who's, attracted to Jean Grey's bloodline. I don't know. When you really get into the Phoenix in the comics, it's confusing as heck. All I can say is watch the episode. And we found out Emma Frost is evil. Emma Frost has always been evil. Emma Frost is part of the Hellfire Club. Emma Frost was in that movie X-Men First Class. And the Hellfire Club wants to use the Phoenix to destroy their enemies, destroy Genosha, destroy the X-Men, just destroy anything, wreck everything. And we find that that's what happens in the future. They use the Phoenix Force, the Genosha gets decimated. Magneto dies, he takes his daughter. Yeah, he has another daughter named Laura Dane in this, who is season gifted. Yes, the Fox show Gifted that never had a season 3 because I don't know, I guess ratings were bad. In that show, spoiler, that show the X-Men died, but they never explained how. And seriously, the Sentinels are not even the robots; they're people. And they eventually do the Sentinels in the show. Because everybody who was disappointed to see, if you have seen the show, okay. If you haven't, okay. So the Sentinels are in the trailer. I mean, not the trailer. It's in the theme song, like you just heard. But the Sentinels just don't show up till, episode 7. Or 8, or all that stuff. Yeah. But I feel like season 3 would have been cool. They would have done Apocalypse. And also the Age of Apocalypse timeline. So they kept the dark future from happening. But they created another dark future. Time travel, I know. It makes no sense. Yeah. It would have been cool because in that future we would have seen Cyclops work for Apocalypse. That's crazy. And Apocalypse is not like what he... If you were disappointed of Apocalypse, X-Men Apocalypse, that's not how he is in the comics. He's huge. He's freaking huge. Have mercy. And the thing is, the guy who taught, what is his name? Apocalypse how to be a good leader was Kang the Conqueror. Yes, the guy you just saw on the Loki show. Of course, spoiler alert for that. And he said, "Who's Kang?" He who remains is Kang, or Mortis, or Iron Lad. He time traveled a lot. He has a lot of aliases. Yeah. And he said, "Wait, Iron Lad?" Okay, Iron Lad is like a teenager version of Kang. Watch the Loki episode, you probably know what I'm talking about. I'm not explaining all of that. Not a Loki review. I feel like season 2 would have been awesome. For the most part, Jean Grey's not in the show. Now, she's missing for most of the show. And she has amnesia. And then they try to get her back, but Emma Frost betrayed them. She find out she was secretly evil and basically took her because they wanted the Phoenix Force to, start the dark future that Professor X sees when the Phoenix Force had destroyed Genosha and Sentinels have taken over the world. And the only one that's alive is Magneto's daughter, who's calling herself Polaris now. And her hair looks psychotic. I mean, seriously. I know it's the future, and it's like a dark future. You don't have time to go get your hair done. But have mercy, her hair is horrible. Talk about helmet hair. Magneto gives her his helmet and his cape. I'm just saying, what's so special about your cape? I'm just saying, it's a dumb cape, you dummy. Okay, this is going to become a long review. I'm just going to say, by the end of this show, it's epic. We see the MRD, S.H.I.E.L.D., the X-Men, even the Brotherhood trying to stop the Phoenix Force. See, the thing is, Magneto hacked the Sentinels. The real Senator Kelly is actually Mystique in disguise. Mystique is pretending to be the real Senator Kelly. Anyway, she tells Trask, her and Senator Kelly tells Trask. Trask is the guy who created the Sentinels. Moving on. So after that, he wants the Sentinels to attack Genosha, as Magneto's plan, so his army can retaliate and attack the humans. And he does that. He wants, even though in one episode, Charles Xavier tells Magneto, and he says, Charles, because the only reason Mystique went to the X-Mansion and pretended to be everybody, he wanted to see what state Professor X was in. And then he'll say, Charles, how are you doing this? And he says, I will wake up in 20 years in the future. He shows him the dark future. Senator Kelly believes him. He's like this politician that hates mutants. By the end, he realized, okay, mutants aren't that bad. Magneto puts him in prison anyway. Because he wants the dark future to happen. Because he's arrogant and stupid. But once the Phoenix Force destroys the Sentinel, he's like, oh my goodness, what have I done? And basically, by the end of it, Scarlet Witch says, get the heck off the island, dude. You almost started a war. Even after everything Charles Xavier told you, you still did it anyway. Get off the island. Yeah. He said, but. And tells one of the girls, she's a mutant. They call her Blink. She uses her daggers that teleport things. Anyway, and then Pietro says, Scarlet Witch says, you can stay on the island, Pietro, but don't let Magneto ever come back. And then she just teleports and basically says, get off the island. Because if Magneto kept starting the war, the Phoenix Force would have destroyed Genosha and killed Magneto and everybody. Yeah. And we even see in the Days of Future Past episodes, when there's every episode takes place in the past and the future. We even get flashbacks of when Cyclops was a teenager, when his parents died, when his brother was put in an orphanage, the original 5 X-Men. Even though one thing doesn't make sense, Iceman is part of the original 5 X-Men. Yes, he was part of the original X-Men team in the comics, and Cyclops is the same. Iceman is the same age as Cyclops, but not in the movies and not in the show. Iceman in this show is 18 years old. He's like 12, 15 years younger than Cyclops. Okay? But in the flashback episode, we also see Iceman. In this flashback, he's the same age as Cyclops. Even though in the present, he wouldn't be born yet when Cyclops first joined the X-Men. It don't make sense. I feel like they wanted Iceman to be part of the original 5 X-Men. He is in the comics in the same age as Cyclops. But that's not in this show. He's supposed to be like 15, 20 years younger than Cyclops. But in the flashback, have mercy. They wanted to do the original 5 X-Men, but the director who created the show probably forgot, Iceman's only 18. What the balls? It don't make sense, but everything else about that flashback, cool. The original 5 X-Men are Angel, Beast before he was blue. Yes, he wasn't always blue, dummies. Yes, Angel, Beast. Jean Grey, who did, at one point, I know this is his dumb name, she called herself Marvel Girl. No, wait. It's called Marvel Comics, so you called yourself Marvel Girl? What does that even mean? Marvel Girl? You don't think Marvel Girl and think... Yeah, that's why she just calls herself Jean Grey now. Yeah. And Magneto wants her. Again, X-Men The Last Stand, people. And obviously this show was heavily inspired by those movies. Wolverine's tall. Okay, Wolverine is usually a short guy. I know what? Is Wolverine short? That's not realistic. It's not, but... Yeah. That's why in the movies and the cartoons he's tall. Because Wolverine, it's not realistic for a short and stocky guy to be the Wolverine. It just makes sense. Wolverine's... That's why he's played by Hugh Jackman. They're not going to get a short guy who can't act just because it's in the comics. Just because it's in the comics doesn't mean it's a good idea. Anyone remember the Clone Saga? If you're a nerd, that's you know we don't speak about the Clone Saga. No one speaks about the Clone Saga because it's stupid. Have mercy. The gist of that story is a villain makes 80 clones of Spider-Man. One clone dies, and we think Peter Parker's the clone, and the clone's the real person. Then they say the clone is the clone, and the real Peter Parker's the real Peter Parker. Yes, and I feel like that comic book lasted 10 years or 8 years, and there was 80 clones of Spider-Man. Or 1,000. There was a lot of clones of Spider-Man. I've never read it, but I hear it's horrible. Not good. So obviously, I have seen it on TV. I don't remember the first time I watched it. I didn't watch it when it actually first came on. They used to do reruns on Nicktoons. Nicktoons! Yeah. And I saw one of the episodes. I said, this show is pretty good. But before they made Disney Plus, I was like, man, I want to get this on DVD. But then they created Disney Plus, so I don't have to waste my money getting an X-Men show. That probably wouldn't be that good. Like, Wolverine the X-Men is not for everybody. I say it is a good show, but it's just not for everybody. I feel like if you don't like comic books, don't watch this show, because it pulls a lot from the comic book genre, from comic books in general. Like the 90s X-Men cartoon. There's a lot of X-Men cartoons. Eventually I'll review X-Men Evolution, and yeah. So I would give the show an A. Oh yeah, and the end of the show, Emma Frost, decides, okay, I'm not going to be a villain and sacrifice herself. Because apparently her power is she can become Diamond, and she lets the Phoenix Force absorb in her. Jean Grey eventually gets her memories back, Emma Frost explodes. Yeah, and then it has a post-credit scene. That leads to nothing because it's still never out of season 2. Okay, thanks for watching this video. I try to review every X-Men thing ever, but no promises. Okay, bye.